How long you think it was gonna take before we got here? Now you gotta prove yourself all over again. Come on.
Ain't nobody coming, I've been gunning from 100 yards, trying to hit my mark, missing every time. This'll be the start of the picture perfect. Watch you.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Muddy Monday at Parx. Terry over there smiling. Don't be fooled, though. My man is a trooper. He's not feeling well still, and he's here. So if you haven't done so yet, man, just Terry being here today is a thumbs up and a subscribe if you haven't done so already. Terry, I know you're not feeling well, but otherwise, how was your weekend?
Oh, it's good because, I had that friend that was having that big birthday party. I did picks for them for Golden Gate Fields for Saturday, which was, the big race day of the year, 12 races. And out of 12 picks, my first pick won 8 of the races and then 2 seconds and a third. So they did pretty well.
So you're a hero, in other words.
Yeah, they're pretty happy with me.
So while you might not feel well, your back hurts too for carrying your friends.
That's right. Yep.
All right. Well, I mean, we're off to a little bit of a late start today. My fault, folks. I was a little bit behind schedule today. It happens sometimes, even when you work at home, when you just go from upstairs to downstairs, you can run into traffic, I suppose. So I guess I must have run into a little bit of traffic this morning. All right. Race number 1 is where we're going to get cracking. It's 1 mile and 70 yards on the main track. It's muddy there today. This is an optional claiming 16,000, purse of 28,000. I know it rained quite a bit over there during the weekend. So hello, Scary. How are you today? Play a little Parx and wait for the Derby draw. Can't wait. Yes, indeed. The Derby draw. Speaking of which, of course, we will have our wagering guide over at the guaranteed tip sheet. You're going to want to make sure you get that. We have everything 50% off for the Triple Crown wagering guides, including the Breeders' Cup. So that's the superfecta. You're not going to get anything better than that. And there is a link down in the description below. All of the information you see us go through here is what's contained within those and our picks. All right, race number 1, Terry, 1 mile and 70 yards on that muddy track. Looking at it, tactical speed is the best way to win at 1 mile and 70 yards. 29% of those horses go wire to wire. There is an 8-and-out penalty. So we do around here, Terry. We have 1,000 simulations for early speed to see who will be on the lead at the quarter-mile marker. We use speed figures to get a sense of what fair odds might look like. And something we've created on our own called C-Zone, which is based upon the early speed, where the horse is likely to be positioned at the quarter-mile marker, if it will be in its comfort zone or not. The higher the score, the better. Terry, it sure looks like Fancy Scepter will be the one everybody has to pass.
Yeah, it looks like it got lots and lots of speed. Should get to that quarter pole first. And then as far as the overlays go, the 4 has a pretty nice overlay. It's supposed to be less than even money, and it's at just under 2-1, like maybe
it looks like the odds there should be something like about 3 to 5.
3 to 5, and then
2 to 5,
which should be around 8 to 5. So anyway, and then as far as the C-zones, look, they all have pretty darn good C-zone numbers. The only one that doesn't is the 3.
Yeah, the only one that doesn't. And looking at it too, I've been going back and kind of reviewing kind of this information here to get a sense of when to jump, because a lot of these high C-zone score horses come in at decent prices. So one of the things I've been noticing is if it has a high Z-zone score and an overlay and or a strong chance to get to the lead. So if 2 out of the 3, the horse ranks well. So horses you absolutely want to consider in your picks. As far as the race shape is concerned, Terry, also like to look and see how the race might play out. In here, you see there's really not a whole lot of early speed in here. The 2 horse being the lone EP type. So if we look at recency bias, horses that should be on the front is that 2 horse, Fancy Scepter, as we saw in the simulations. Late speed does favor that 4 horse, a 9-point advantage over everybody else. In the complete beginning to end race, looks like the 2 and the 4, a little bit of advantage over the rest of the field. Minus the 7, everybody's got a chance in here, Terry, from that perspective. What about your perspective?
All right. In this race here, I like this number 4 horse. She finished 3rd versus similar in her last race. Her best start speed is fast as among today's starters. And she has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. Number 2, Fancy Scepter, is my second pick. She finished 2nd in her last race and has a high percentage winning jockey. The 7 Island Bell is my third pick. She drops in class today, has a trainer, wins 17% of the races in routes. And then my long shots, Milwaukee Bay, number 6. Finished second in her last 2 races and switches to a high percentage winning jockey. I'm going to play a dollar daily double with the 2, 4, 7, and I'm going to tie them to the 6 and the 8.
So Scary is talking here about likes the 7 in here. The Island Bell says the horse did run once on mud, won by 6. Maybe it is a mudder. He's not crazy about that 4 horse Savier either. Says the horse is Jamie Ness. So we know that the horse will be properly trained. But the horse is bred for turf. He says not really bred great for mud. I will let him beat me. Yeah, probably not a bad idea. He's going to be a really low-priced horse. I think right now, looking at the 4 horse in race number 1, the morning line odds have the horse at 1 to 2. So yeah, you have to play away from that one. I agree with you because I don't think any horse in here merits a 1 to 2, even though the simulation odds says 2 to 5 is kind of close. So a little bit of an overlay actually still at 1 to 2. As far as my picks, I do think the 4 horse Servier did run that top last race speed number by a really big margin. And I've noticed over and over and over again when a horse has such a huge advantage over the rest, at least in the last race speed figure, so many times those horses come back to win because it either has to regress a lot or the others have to come up and done something they've not shown they can do. And the history says that this one should be good, maybe better in the second start after a layoff. Fancy Scepter, this one hasn't won yet, but I think it's going to be the pace setter in here as we see with the strong C zone. And a lot of times horses don't like that mud in their face. The 6 horse for me, Milwaukee Bay, ran some better times last out, has a pair of maintenance workouts in between races. And Sophia Vives, the friend of the show, has on this horse. And man, she's really been winning a lot of races no matter what track she's running at, Terry. And then finally, that Island Bell. That is a horse that has a chance for the early lead, one of a quartet that might get out front. Little does concerning that most of the speed is on the inside, so might have to go a little bit too fast. But the C-zone score says should get a pace that it's comfortable with. Because of those races in the middle there with all these first-time starters, no chance for a pick 5. But trifecta 2-4 with the 2-4-6 with the 2, 3, 4, 6, and 7. Race number 2.
Hey, Rich, before you go on to there, can you do something about this box at the top here? It's covering the times that we're talking about the races.
Let's see. Hold on 1 second, brother. Let me look. I don't see a box, Terry.
Okay, it says 5 days streaming.
Oh, you're talking about on StreamYard? Just hit the X, Terry. What you're looking at, people can't see. So here, let me.
Okay, go ahead.
I don't see it in mine. So, did you hit the X?
Yeah, I did. So go ahead.
All right. Race number 2. So a little bit of behind the scenes there. So Terry keeps track of the times so that when we're talking about races, we put them in the description down in the YouTube description. So you can just go back by race. Just click on the time and it'll take you directly to that race. So a little bit behind the scenes of what happens besides horse racing picks. Race 2 is 5.5 furlongs, optional claiming 16,000. The purse is 28 grand. At 5.5 furlongs, it's surprisingly, despite the fact it's a short sprint, half of the race is won by speed, half stalkers, closers. Of the speed horses, 34% of them go wire to wire. Very strong inside 3 bias here. 4 through 7 play fair, 8 and out. 4 through 7 under par, 8 and out, a little bit of a bonus. Again, speed doesn't really matter so much in race number 2, Terry. But again, well, there's plenty of it in here. It looks like only the 1 and 2 don't have a shot to be on the front.
Yeah, the actually to me in here the 5 has the most speed, and of course the 3 and the 4 has some, and the 8. So it's really a guess on who's going to make it to that quarter pole first. As far as
before we go on, Terry, race number 1 is off.
Okay.
So right now, Fancy Scepter, the 2 horse, as we suspected would be the case, is actually the one that's on the lead. I'm getting a little confused listening to Jessica Paquette in my ear, but the 7 horse, the one that Scary Creations likes in there, Island Bell running second. They went through the opening half, 49 seconds. It's kind of slow. I think it could be difficult to run down that 2 horse if that nobody else starts to pick it up. 4 horse is making a move. I think the 4 horse is going to go by that 7 right now. Is running, I think, with the most. But it's going to get passed by the 6 here. Look, well, you just cut the 6 off, so we're likely to get some problems. The 2 just bumped the 7. 7 is making a move right there. So the question is, but the one that's moving the best right now looks to me like the 1 horse, something neither one of us have, Terry, may beat us all. I don't know. Now you got the 6 horse making a move. It's going to be close down the stretch. It's going to go 6, 1, and 2. 6, 1, and 2. So it always works out that way, Terry, right? When you put the horse over here, your last one, you got the daily double. You picked every horse but the 6. And I don't know why it works like that, Terry. Have you any idea why it always works like that?
It's just the way of the world.
Yes, it is the way of the world. Because on when we did our pick 6 on Saturday at Gulfstream Park, the one leg I missed, I had the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place horses next in a tight mix. And it was my next pick because I went with 2 horses there. So my 3rd pick actually won that race. And in the last leg, my first pick got, I don't know how DQ'd, but got DQ'd. Terrible call by the stewards down there completely. You could see if you watch the race again, Paco Lopez comes out of the turn and knocks the 4 horse out of its way to create space for it on the lane, on the rail. And then they go ahead and get mad at the 4 horse for coming back down to its place. But anyway, Buenos tardes, senor. Where are you from? Are you from Venezuela? Where are you from? Eric, let us know where you're from. Indeed, that was a bump fest, that first race. It should be interesting to see what they do with all those horses. All right, back to race number 2, Terry. We were talking about the early speed in here, this in race number 2. What you got for us?
Yeah, we were talking about the 5. Looked like it had quite a bit of early speed, but they've all got some speed. And as I said, just who knows should get to the quarter pole first. Then we talked about the overlay. The 1 has a nice overlay. It's supposed to be under even money. It's 9-2 in the morning line. That's about the only overlay I see. And the 5 has the best C zone. So, with that speed, you might want to take a look at that 5. So
indeed, yeah. Again, the combination of 2 out of 3 looks pretty good right in there. Our pace set up for race number 2. Yes, you're from Venezuela. Well, thanks for joining us today. We appreciate that. Hopefully the weather's beautiful down there. It's crappy here in Chicago. Christopher, good to see you again on this Monday morning. Hopefully we can make it through this Muddy Monday in a profitable way. This race is loaded with horses that want to be towards the front, Terry. You can see that. Might give an advantage to the horses that have a little bit of off-the-pace ability. Early speed-wise, take a look at it. What we see here, according to recency bias, very competitive, Terry, from top to bottom. I think we kind of saw that in the simulations. So it should favor horses to have a little bit of late energy. And the 1 horse looks like it has plenty of it. The 2 and the 6, that trio stands above the rest. I have no idea what I just did there. And looking at the early pace, late pace combination, the 1 and the 6 stand above everybody else, Terry. Wouldn't be shocked at all to see a winner coming from out of there. Scary Creation says here in race number 2, he's going to give the 4 Coffee with Alex another chance. Was running against better horses and then was running against better. First race at Parx after a year off was average. Maybe a wake up today. Second start off a layoff. Indeed, that could be a good one. I agree. Looks like Eduardo Junior Gano L6. Yes, indeed, that won the first one. 6 horse is your first winner in race number 1 in a bump fest. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's some changes in terms of the final order. Terry, what do you like in race 2?
All right, in race 2, I like the number 6 horse that you were talking about. Must Be Love. He ran second versus Simler in his last race. His best dirt speed's fastest among today's starters. He has the highest last speed rating, and he has a high percentage winning jockey and trainer, and that marks a lots of blocks off. Anyway, number 8 is my second pick, E.T.'s Toy Soldier. He won his last race at Parx Racing and has a jockey that in the last 7 days finished in the money in 5 out of 10 races and has won 3 of those. In spades, the 2 is my third pick, finished third versus Simler in his last race. He has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey also. And then my long shot is the 5, Destin's Mission. He won his last race at Parx Racing easily and only needs to repeat that performance. I like the trifecta of 50 cent of 6-8 with the 2-6-8 with the 1-2-5-6-8.
I'm going to start off with the 6 horse in here, Mr. Terry, just like you. Must Be Love, another one that ran the top last race speed figure by a pretty big margin. Held speed longer today and is likely to up that performance in the second start off their layoff. ET's Toy Soldier, last time out, its race internals were better from the beginning to the middle to the end. Always like to see that. And that was coupled with much faster fractions. And this one has a chance to be better in the third start after a layoff. Late to the show, that one horse is the biggest overlay in here, gets the high win rate rail. Another that ran some very strong fractions last time out relative to its prior start. And this one, unfortunately, is only 50-50 on its CV to improve in round 2 off the bench. And finally, Destin's Mission, like you, Terry, that 5-horse, coming off a wire-to-wire to win to get the maiden win in the 4th try. So I'm not the biggest fan of horses that step up from the maiden after a couple tries to get that first W. Has a chance to improve in the second start off the bench. But when you look at those early speed and Z-zone numbers, you can't ignore that one. I'm going to do a pick 4 here. 2 singles to get us started, Terry, with the 6 and the 4 in the next leg. With the 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, with the bunch of babies running 2 furlongs, you have no idea what's going to happen in that. And then the 1, 3, 4, and 5 in race number 5. I'm just trying to commit only a little bit of money early on with 2 horses that I hope have a shot to win going as solos in races number 2 and 3. In the third race, as we take a look at this one's a mile and 70 yards on the main track, just like the opener, Mr. Terry. And at a mile and 70 yards, again, we just saw a horse come from off the pace, but speed kind of did hold up with the 2 there, but get a little tired at the end. As far as our simulations are concerned, Terry, in race number 3, we've got a trio of horses that look like they want to get up and go. And one quick note before we get started, I don't think I've ever seen this before. None of these horses are going to be where they want to be.
That's true. Yeah, it was odd to me when I saw it too, but it looks like the 4, 5, and 3 going to try to go for that quarter pole. But I think the 4 and the 5 will go head and head if they get a good break. And then the 1 has a nice overlay. It's supposed to be like a little under half of even money, so he's quite a bit under 3 to 5, something like that.
1 to 2, yeah,
listed at 3 to 1 on the morning line. That's about the only overlay that I see. And then, like you said, none of them really is where they want to be. The only one that's got a little bit is the 3. So
yeah, kind of funny to me. It's going to be interesting to see. Looking at the race shape here, it looks kind of interesting to me in that you have a bunch of horses, none of which really want to be towards the front. None have really shown an interest to be on the lead. So when you look at the speed, early speed, it does belong a pretty hefty advantage to Charlie's Chubb. 12-point advantage over everybody else. But you see here the late pace on that one really fell off hard. So if this one finds any late legs or any courage being up on the lead, could have a reversal in late form there. As far as Lake Energy, Tempted to Touch does have the most of it. Jump a Fox, another that's in there. And the early pace plus late pace, it looks like the 1, the 3, and the 4 have a pretty good advantage over the 2, the 5, and the 6, Terry. Again, I think this is a race where maybe you can go shallow. I went shallow here with the 4-horse. What do you got?
Yeah, I like the 1, Tempted to Touch. I am throwing out her last race as she came really wide into the stretch, and the rail post is winning at a 21% clip. She switches to high percentage winning jockey, and her best dirt speed is fastest among today's starters. Jump a Fox is number 2. My second pick, drops in class today, has a decent 4-long workout on April 21st. Your 4, Tempest Rising, is my third pick. She has the highest last speed rating. Her best dirt speed is close to the average winning speed. And then I like number 3 is my long shot, 11 months later. She switches to a high percentage winning jockey and has a good 3-furlong workout on April 5th. I'm not going to make any bets. I'm saving my money for later on today.
Yeah, it's when he feels like he's got a better card. So this is a maiden claiming $25,000 race, which goes factored in pretty heavily into me putting the 4 up in here. Tempest Rising. This one is the biggest class dropper in this group. So I like to see that in the maiden claiming types. Did run the top last race speed figure, combination that I love, the top last race speed figure, followed by a drop in class. Ran a Z pattern last time out, too. Another one of my favorites were the early pace numbers here, a little bit of a lull in the middle, and the second wind down the stretch. Has a really strong shot to be up on the lead off that class drop. I think that one could take this race, Terry. Number 3, 11 months later. This is the other class dropper in here. Was better across the board, too. I like when you see internals that improve the relative to the prior start. But this one has tried this level and didn't win yet either. Number 1, Tempted to the Touch, finished a well beaten the last 2 times she ran at this level, so don't be taken too much by the apparent glass drop there. And then finally, number 2, Jump a Fox. This one's completely a mystery horse. Only ran 2 races. Neither one of them were very good, but it is the most likely raced. And for some reason, the morning line maker made it the favorite at 2-1. So there might be something there that I'm missing. I hope not. I hope that 4 horse off the class drop is the one that gets it done. Going back to, and I do have a trifecta here, Terry. The 3-4 with the 1-3-4 with the 1-2, 3, 4, and 5. We rewind back to race number 2. Christopher points out that in race number 2, the 3 horse, Jackie's Pride, sim odds, that sim odds is not a 41.92% chance to win, Christopher. That's what its simulation odds should be. So in other words, it should be 42-1. So a little bit of a rise in class. So what we do is we do our simulations, and then based upon 1,000 simulations, how many times that horse wins out of the 1,000 simulations. So just for sake of argument, if it won 333 out of 1,000, that would be 3-1. So those odds should be 3-1. So the higher the number is on the sim odds, the worst. Race number 3 likes to win in the C zone of 41.92%. So we're off to race 4 now, right, Terry? Yeah, you're not muting. I mean, you're not echoing, so you don't have to mute today.
Okay.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I prefer it when you don't echo. Okay, here we go. Race 4. 2 furlongs, maiden $45,000 race. This is just a lottery race, Terry. Open up the gates, see which one's the fastest in a quarter mile, and call it a day. You know, like drag strip cars, right? Is that what they run a quarter mile, right? The ones like those really long ones in the funny cars?
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, our friend Charles, his family is big into that. And apparently someone who's really good at it too. I don't want to divulge any personal stuff. I'll let Charles do it, but that's something that's near and dear to his heart. All right, so in race number 4, Terry, we don't have any information. Everybody's a first-time starter. Lord knows what's going to happen. So Terry knows what's going to happen too. So let us know what it is.
Well, we'll see if I know. I like that 1 horse. He's a first-time starter whose dam has won 6 winners out of 8 starts, and has a trainer wins 33% of the races with the first-time starters. Number 6, Heavy Timber, is my second pick. Also first-time starter, as all these horses are, has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey, and has a good workout on April 22nd. Number 2, In Citrus Way, I guess.
In Situous Way. I don't know.
Yeah, whatever. They got some funny names, I'll tell you.
Insitus Way? I'm going to go with Insitus Way.
All right. This first-time starter has has 2 winners from 2 starters and a good workout on April 22nd. And then number 7, Factor You and Me In. This dam has 2 winners from 4 starters. And that's my long shot. I'm not going to play anything but a pick 4 here. And I'm going to take and single that. I'm going to take and go all in this race. Then I'm going to use the next 4 and 5 in the 5th, the 2 and 3 in the 6th, and the 1 and 6 in the 7th.
Well, you're guaranteed to get out of that leg, Terry, and I hope you make it through the rest. I didn't want to all them in here because I felt like some of the other races maybe. That's why I went with the other one, the other way I went. Anyway, Insitus Way, 2 horse. That one's been working at Belmont, most likely versus better horses in terms of what they're putting on the practice track. I really like that April 22nd work. And if you look at this race, it's one of 2 horses with a regular Parx rider. Number 5, Aramati, a Bullet and Go at Belmont. Again, another one that's probably been squaring up in terms of its practice time against better horses. Has by far the top pedigree numbers. And trainer, the problem for me why this one didn't make the top pick is because trainer Amira Chickalakili, or whatever, Chickakli's numbers are concerning, but it could very well be the best horse in here. That's at least what the pedigree says. Heavy Timber, most expensive horse in the field. And here you have the other one, Frankie Pennington, the other top Parx rider in here. Absolutely, unquestionably the top rider in here. And then finally, Fuego SOS. I really like our good friend Tyler Connor. I like the fact that the rail does well here, but I'm really not a fan of Penn Shippers. I know it's been working well at Penn, but I trust the workout numbers at places like Belmont probably a little bit better. I'm going to do a trifecta, 2, 5, 6 with the 2, 5 with the 1, 2, 5, 6, and 7. I'm going to throw out that 4. So, Terry, guess who's going to win your race to start the pick 4 with your all bet? Rebel Invasion.
That's right. Number 4 is going to pay a lot too.
Mm-hmm. See, Clover Crane has 2. His wife or sister, Jonah Crane, has 1, which she owns. Who do the Cranes want to win? They probably want it to go 1-2, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Right? All right, so let's see. Race number 5, or how about this? A dead heat. That would probably be ideal for them. They need to get first and second place money and split it up evenly. Race number 5, and this one we get away from the bubblegum race where it's going to just who can get a popcorn race, who can get to the fit. In that last race too, before I forget, in that 2 furlong race, you better hope your horse gets out of the gate in a hurry, because if there's any delay out of the gate, the horse will lose the race, unless it's just a Wesley Ward horse that's so much better than everything else. And it doesn't look like there's any like that in there. Race number 5, 7 furlongs, claiming 7,500, non-winners of 3. Lifetime, the purse is 22 grand. When they run 7 furlongs, Mr. Terry, early speed is the best way. In fact, 36%. So the highest number I think we're going to see today, along with 6 furlongs, go wire to wire. Very strong inside 3 bias. And then if you look at 4 and out, they play a little bit under par, Terry. So speed is going to be a big factor in the 5th race. And if speed's a big factor, rolling and controlling could be rolling and controlling from the start to the end.
That's right. But that 5, 6, and 7 could give him some trouble. Give her some trouble, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
The only overlay I really see is that 1, even money, listed at 8-1 on the morning line. And then as far as the C zones, look, they all have pretty nice C zone numbers. The only one that doesn't is this 5 horse and the 3.
Yes, and the 1 horse, Bella Maria. Again, there's your combination of 2. Strong C zone, strong sim odds. So in this case right here, this horse is 8-1 morning line. And when we ran 1,000 simulations, it came closer to 1-1. So that means it won about 50% of the time. It produced the top speed score when we ran the simulations. When we look at the pace set up for the 5th spot here, you see nobody so far has shown an inkling to be the leader. The best race for the 2 horse came as a pressure horse. So speed here is probably not going to be plentiful. You see minus the 3 horse, another saucy 6. Everybody's pretty much clumped up there. Wouldn't be surprised to see the race take that shape. The 3 horse, though, another saucy 6, does have the biggest advantage in the race at the end with 7-point late pace advantage. If our complete picture, it shows the 3, the 1, and the 6 as your top 3. And they have a pretty good advantage over the rest of the field. Wouldn't all be surprised to see the 1, the 3, or the 6 produce the winner, Terry. When you did your math, you did all the things you do. Who won?
I went with the 4, rolling and trolling. She has won 3 out of her last 4 races, so she loves to win. Has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. This distance won't be a problem for her. And then I liked Scarf, the 5. She finished 3rd versus similar in her last race. Has a trainer who wins 27% of the races with the horse's first start with this trainer. And then 6, Without a View, my 3rd pick, likes Parx racing and switches to high percentage winning jockey. Another saucy 6 is the 3, Long Shot. She finished in the money in 5 out of her last 6 races, winning 1 of those, finishing 2nd versus similar in her last race. No bet in this race for me.
And if you're going to be a 6, Terry, it's probably good to be saucy.
Yes.
All right. Anyway, I just got ourselves in trouble a little bit there, Terry. But, I do that from time to time. Moving in stereo, that's the next race. Rolling and controlling at Parx. 7 times out, 2 wins, 2 seconds in the 3rd, the best record of this crew. And at the distance, 3 times with 2 wins and a second. So the horse for the course with the best horse for the distance, it looks like. Bella Maria. The 1 horse is taking by far the biggest drop in class here. And internally, the horse ran better 2 and 4 furlong pace numbers. Again, we've talked about it before. Craig Mikowski from Timeform US, one of the things he said they look for is improvement in the first half mile as a sign that the horse could be primed for a good race next time out. I think moving down to that inside rail is going to be really helpful here. Another saucy 6. It might not look like it on paper, Terry, But when matched up against a lot of these horses in here, beat most of them when it's faced up against it before. So might not look like it on paper, but is better than pretty much the rest of the field. And then finally, 5, the Scarf. It's got a good little bit of an overlay perhaps in there. No, I don't have a small overlay on Scarf. What am I talking about? This horse has a chance to perhaps be up on the lead. I don't know where that overlay came from in there, but does have a shot to be up there on the front in a race where there's not a lot of speed. I think that could be helpful. I'm going to go with the trifecta. I think the 1 and the 4 are your best 2 horses here with the 1, 3, 4, with the 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Double printed the 5 there. Thinking a little bit about the speed limit, which I never drive.
All right. Somebody's asking about the pick for race number 2.
Yes, indeed. There we go. So I'm going to bring that back up in here. So El Uno Dos de los Caballos. So the number 1 and 2 horse, I guess, is what he's saying there. Maybe. I hope I got that right for that my Spanish interpretation. We both like the 6 horse and the 8 horse as our top picks. We vary a little bit on that 3rd pick, coming with the 5 Destin's Mission with that early speed and strong C-zone combination. Terry did a trifecta. I'm going to try to sneak through a pick 4 with those 2 furlongers in there. Maybe I should have put the 4 in there too, Terry, but I think I ran out of money. So pick 4 for me and that race. How far off are we to race number 2? We still got 4 minutes, so
yeah,
we can venture on to race number 6. In the 6th race, which puts us midway on the card, this 11 race card. 6 furlongs claiming 7,500, non-winners of 3 in a lifetime. The purse is 22 grand. Our profile of a 6 furlong winner at the Ben Salem track does favor tactical speed. Horses usually are 3rd, maybe 2nd, maybe 4th, somewhere in that range to come home to win. 36% of them, though, are on the lead from the beginning to the end. Mostly fair in terms of post positions. The only ones that get dinged a little bit are the 2 and the 3. Speed's not that important here, Terry, although it does manage to go wire to wire 35% of the time. And the fastest of the fast, Crazy Serena, and I have not met a Serena that's not crazy. That one's gone. So plenty of others that will try to take the lead then. Yeah,
there's, most of these have a little speed. You just don't know. It looks like the 5's got the most speed. But I'm not sure who's going to really get to that quarter pole first. It's just anybody's guess. Mm-hmm. And you got a little bit of an overlay on the 2 to 1 a morning simulated odds, and 5 to 2 on the morning line. And that's about the only overlay I see. As far as the C-zones, the only one that's got a little bit of a C-zone is the number 2 horse.
Yeah, another uncomfortable race for everybody. If you haven't done so already, kindly please hit that subscribe button. Help us get to 10,000 in 2023. That's our goal. Obviously, if you haven't done so too, thumbs up. It helps us, please, on Facebook and on YouTube. It helps us on the algorithms. So when people search for horse racing shows, we'll go a little bit further up the rankings and more people will come in contact with us. Also, kindly tell your friends about us. I agree with Scary Creations on this one here. I do think, as Terry thinks too, the 2 and the 3 are the best 2. Who are we going to win on race number 2? So we'll go back real quick to race number 2 before they start. Race number 2, here are our selections. Terry likes the 6, the 8, the 2, the 5. I like the 6, the 8, the 1, and the 5. If we move back to my picks for race number 6 real quick, and then we'll talk about race number 2 as it goes live. I like the hold on a second. I got to get to the
let me talk about mine first.
All right, go ahead, Terry. I thought you had.
All right.
Go ahead.
Number 3, Moving in Stereo, is mine. First pick, finished 3rd versus Tougher in her last race, has the highest last speed rating. She's actually tied with another one, has the highest speed figure at today's distance, and her best start speed is fastest among today's starters. Number 2, Perfect Mistress, has an early foot and will try to lead to the finish line and drops in class today. Miss Alex, my 3rd pick. Number 5, switches to high percentage winning Jockey. And number 6, Risen Change, is my long shot. Finished 3rd in her last race and finished 2nd or 3rd in a lot of the races. So she should be a good one to use in the exotics.
Yeah, and your gimmicks. I'm sorry, folks. I forgot to do this part. So at this race, the 5 and the 6, Mix Alex and Risen Change, these 2 have never been close. And the NC means the horse in its races, at least the last 10 or however many it's run, have not been within 5 lengths of the leader at the finish line. So they're going to have to do something different today to factor. The 1 and the 2, they both can be pilots or co-pilots. That should give them a little bit of advantage. The 3 horse in here, Moving in Stereo, has some flexibility, so it can win from the front, the middle, or the back. I do like that. Recency bias says the 2-horse, Perfect Mistress, is going to be your leader. And when they're coming home, Moving in Stereo has the top late pace numbers. Our combination score tells us that Moving in Stereo has a 7-point lead over the next horse. And it also, I think that one made it is my top pick. Moving in Stereo, just like you, Terry, the 3 and the 2. Been running up against much stronger quality at claiming 12,500 non-winners of 3 lifetime. Just needs to run back to one of the previous 2 starts to equal a win here. If not, Perfect Mistress is another one that's making the same class drop. Showed some really strong improvement in the early half mile last time out. Just the question is, can it hold on? Number 6, Risen Change. It looks like to me it's the more consistent performer of anything that's left. And finally, Miss Alex is the primary beneficiary, in my view, of Crazy Serena scratching, and the one that they're all going to have to likely chase down at some point, going to have to pass at some point in the race. All right, Terry, looks like race number 2. Are they getting close to getting started here?
2 minutes, it says.
2 minutes? Yeah, all right. So you want to power on to race 7?
Yeah, we can start it at least.
All right, so let's get cracking on race number 7. Get the prep work at least in. Here they're going to run 1 mile and 70 yards on the main track, that muddy main track. Race 2 hasn't started yet. They're about to get started in two minutes. So we'll talk about that race as it's happening. So just stay tuned. In race number 7, 1 mile and 70 yards, the type of horse that typically gets the W, has tactical speed. About 30% of them go gate to wire. You do have a very strong rail advantage. 2 through 7 play fair, 8 and out. It's a little bit of a penalty. Those horses get dinged. In race number 7, Terry, well, we'll kind of skip ahead a little bit here. With the scratches out, really, the 1 and the 4 have never been close. It looks like this race should really come down to the 6 or the 7. Heck, there's only 4 horses in this race, Terry.
Yeah.
And in race number 7, it does look like, well, looks like the 1 or the 7 is going to get the lead.
It sure does, although I think the 7 most likely will. And then overlay is the 4. It's supposed to be 5-2, and it's 6-1 on the morning line. Most of them have, well, they know.
The only one with a good season score is the 6.
Only the 6 has it. Yeah.
Everybody else, so that 6 horse should get the best of the lot in terms of
That's right.
the race shape. But, you know, with all those horses scratching, that's going to change a little bit. All right, back to race number 2 because they are loading in. And we'll go back to race number 7 and talk about our picks. But let's talk about what happens in race number 2. In race number 2, you can see we have Destin's Mission as the horse that's most likely to get the lead, although everybody has some percent chance to get the lead. So it could be competitive hot up front. Destin's Mission also scores out as the horse with the top Z-zone score. So maybe that one can get to the front and then hang on at a price. Because right now, as far as the odds go in race number 2, you're looking at the 6 horse, Must Be Love, as your favorite at 2-1, a little bit down from the 7-2 morning line odds. Next up on the board is the 4, Coffee with Alex, our good friend Scary Creations. Good pick there. He's going to go at that one again. If you have the 2, you might be in a little bit of trouble. That guy came out of the gate a little bit on the slow side. As we mentioned, this race does have a lot of pace, going to be contentious. They're shaped in a V through the opening quarter, Terry. It does look to me like, well, they're all right there. The 1 horse is on the rail, might get a decent trip. It looks like that's the one that showed the most patience. Right now, you have the 3, the 4, and the 6 all spread across the track, trying to get to the lead. Opening quarter in 22-2. 6 horses looming. The 8 horse, Terry, our second choice, is also making a pretty bold move on the outside. It's moving the best now, but that 2 horse, the one that got off to a sluggish start, is rallying hard. The jockey's asking him to go 6 wide. The question is, will he be able to make it through that turn? You got that horse on the rail that cut the rail pretty well. The 1 was it the 1 horse? Yes, that cut the rail pretty well. That 2 horse, though, Terry, is flying at the end. It looks like that one's going to be perhaps your winner. But the 1 horse just kind of came out a little bit. Either that or the 2 horse ran into his rear end. It's going to be 2, 1, 6, and 4, Terry. So the 2 horse. Once again, Terry, your third pick, your next one up comes back to get you. But interesting to note, though, through the first 2 races, Terry, in here.
Yeah.
Interesting to note that closers have come through on the muddy track. So make a note of that going forward in terms of if that holds up.
Yep.
So it went 2, 1, 6, and 4. All right. You're ready to finish up our picks in race number 7, Terry?
Let's go.
All right. So tell us what you like. Well, maybe we should go back and see which one's got the best closing pace. But go ahead.
Yeah. We actually maybe we should do that, but you actually have to do the next sheet that you normally do.
Well, we did that, and we went out of order. So
we did do that. Okay.
Yeah, because there was only 4 horses left. If you remember, the 6 and the 7.
That's right. Yeah. So this is the at race 7, and there is only 4 horses. I like as a single the 6, Dudley Dickerson. He comes in from Aqueduct after finishing second, but he only lost by a nose. He has a trainer, wins 18% of the races when he ships a horse in to run. And then number 1, Marvelous Moon Dance is my second pick, has finished in the money in 8 out of the last 10 races, finishing third versus Sumner in his last race. The rail post is winning at a 21% clip and should improve while returning to a route. Supreme Being, my 4 horse, is the third pick. Switches to high percentage winning jockey, should improve while returning to the dirt, and his best dirt speed is fastest among today's starters. I like his 7, Beyond Best, is my long shot, has a highest last speed rating. He's actually tied with another horse and has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. I'm going to take and bet a pick 5. I'm going to single the 6 in this race, single the 8 in the next race, go all in the 9th race, use the 4 in the 10th race, and then use most of the horses in the last race. And I'm going to bet $6 to win on the 8, as I think that's my best bet of the day at Parx.
All right. As far as live, where can you watch the races live? It's a question we get. Yeah, that was a crazy race, Scary Creations. Like, as we mentioned, they were shaped in the V, and everybody was kind of, the 2 horse looked like it got a really bad start and still managed to come on. So I think maybe they all went too fast early on. So where can you watch the races live? So what I do, and what I would suggest doing, is opening an account with one of the places that has horse racing, wherever you are, whatever country you're in. And then if you can open up, personally, you got TVG, you got Twin Spires, you have a whole bunch of them here in the United States. I think Bet Us is one that's international. I think you have to use Bitcoin to make a deposit, though. So if you don't have Bitcoin, you'll have to do that. But once you have an account open, some of them, require you make a minimum amount of bets to get the live video. But once you have an account open, more often than not, you can watch the races live in your account without even betting. So I would advise to open an account. There's also what's it called, the Racing Network or something like RTN.
Yeah,
they have it too. You watch on TVG right now, right on your laptop. Yeah, but a lot of folks, unfortunately, who won the 2 horse won that last race, Daniel, came from way off the pace, sluggish start, and just rallied by all the other ones that decided they were going to speed duel through the opening half. But outside of the country, that's where I want to go. Who won the 2 horse? Yes, the 2 horse in race number 2, Suwanta. So the El Dos, that would be what I would suggest doing in terms of watching races live. So for me, I'm going to bet $5 to win on this 1 horse, Terry. Marvelous Moon Dance. This guy's been knocking on the door. Bob Dylan horse for sure at Parx, 10 times out, 6 seconds and 2/3 at the distance, 5 times with 4 seconds. And perhaps the rail, although we haven't seen the rail do much today, is the difference maker. Number 7, Beyond Best. I think this one has a good shot to win too. Always very well bet. Came back after more than a year off to run the top last race speed figure for this group, especially now with the other horses scratched. Did regress in its only other second start after a layoff, but Scott Lake, with its second start with a horse like today, wins 23% of the time. So you got a little bit of a dueling angles. Dudley Dickerson looms, looks like he's an Aqueduct class dropper, but he's really not, because he's ran at Parx twice before, did not perform at that level, missing the board both times. But in its last start, to its credit, it improved from the beginning to the end and does have an okay Parx workout, but not one that says that the horse is really going to take to the track this time around when it didn't last time. And then finally, Supreme Being, well, still only one that's left, right? So there you go. I'm going to do $5 to win on the 1, like I said, Terry, in this 4 horse race.
Okay.
So on sometimes you can find, sometimes you can on YouTube. I was looking for it and didn't find it while Terry was talking there. Here you go. Thank you, Nick, for the results. 2, 1, 6, and 4. And then finally, let's move off now, Terry, to the 8th race, right?
Yes.
In the 8th spot at Parx, where it's muddy and closers have won the first 2 races. They're going to run 7 furlongs again. And prior to today, when the track appears to be favoring a little bit of off the pace, or at least not when horses go crazy fast up front and all battle each other, Early Speed has won 36% wire to wire. Strong inside 3 bias, 4 and out to play under par. Terry, this one is optional, claiming 25,000 for a purse of 25 grand. Well, Early Speed has not been the difference maker so far, but if it is, Ruffy might have a chance.
That's right. And all those outside horses show a little bit of speed, with the inside having a little bit of speed also. So it's really anybody's guess who gets there, although I think the 5 may get there first to the quarter pole. The overlays are the 2 is a nice overlay. It's supposed to be just over 2-1. And morning line odds are listed at 12-1. And the 5 is supposed to be under 2-1, maybe 8-5 or something. I mean, yeah, maybe 8-5, something 9-5, and it's listed at 3-1. And then as far as the C zones, they all have great C zone numbers except for the 1. So, and the 8 is a little bit less than most of them. So
yeah, Beachwalker too, a little bit off the board there. Our race shape here, we do see the 1 horse as an EP type, so one that wants to be either the pilot or the co-pilot. According to recency bias, though, it's not going to be on the lead, be a little bit of mid-pack. Doesn't necessarily need the lead, but might be a little bit discouraged by how far it is off. Ruffy and Meet the Elite, they have a pretty good advantage over everybody else, although I don't know if that matters if they go dual. Coming home, though, Ruffy does have some late legs. So late legs has shown to be the way early on. So the 2, the 3, the 5, and the 7 have shown the most late speed. So if that holds on, maybe one of those quartet will be your winner. Our complete picture, Ruffy has an 11-point EP LP advantage over everybody else. Anytime you see this number at 10 or more, the horse has to be in your picks. It might not be the winner, but one that you can maybe box around or key around or wheel around in your exactas and your trifectas, Terry. That's my top choice. Mr. Terry, what's yours?
All right, my top choice in this 8th race is Bullet Butch. Drops in class today, can improve while returning to a sprint, has a high percentage winning jockey and trainer, and a really good workout the 25th of April. He's the 8 horse. Number 3, Beachwalker. My second choice has been knocking at the door, finishing 3rd versus similar in his last race, and has a trainer who wins 25% of the races when taking a horse from a route to a sprint. Ruffy the 5, my 3rd pick, he ran 2nd versus similar in his last race, has the highest last speed rating, and has a high percentage winning jockey. And then number 2, Louis Law is my long shot. Closed to win his last race at Parx Racing and switches to high percentage winning jockey. I'm going to play a pick 4. I'm going to single the 8 horse, and then I'm going to go with all in the 9th. Then I'm going to use the 4 as a single in the 10th, and then I'm going to use most of the horses in the 11th.
Wow. So you're basically making this a 2-race double with the 4 and the 8 in race number 8 and race number 10.
That's correct.
Yeah, you know, funny, I don't have the 4 in my picks down there in race number 10. So I don't know if that's a concern for you or a concern for me, but it's still a concern for one of us. I'm going to start with the 5 horse, probably going to regret it. Early Speed did show aggressive early pace advancement and a really nice mid move in its last race. Which was at this level. 3 consecutive speed figure increases in a row, which wound up as the top last race speed figure. So horse that's definitely moving up the ladder. Strong C zone, strong chance to get on the lead. Really good simulation odds. Yeah, probably going to get to the front and fade because one of those closers is going to come get it. Number 8, Bullet Butch, running at his lowest level of his career. This one is 5 years old with only 7 races, Terry. So on the paper, the horse looks talented, but what the 5-year-old with only 7 races tells me is that this horse has issues. Maybe gets injured, gets sore. Now, something is stopping this horse, preventing this horse from running regularly. I feel like Robert Reed is looking to run this horse, win this race, get paid, and sell the horse, in my opinion, and move those problems to another barn. Meet the Elite. The 6 horse steps up after winning, coming off of the bench. Strong workout in between races, and the resume says in race number 2, after some rest, it's going to get better. And finally, Louis Law, the 2 horse, major overlay, strong C-zone scored. And if you notice, trainer Scott Lake went to Ruben Silvera here. I think it's the only time Ruben's ridden this horse in the last 10. that's maybe a hint to me that Scott feels like moving to the top jockey might be the right move because its horse is ready to win. Race number 8, Christopher Souza likes the one horse. Going to show some speed in here. Ouch, ouch, and ouch. Is that what? Yes, triple ouch. Does have a chance to get the lead right there. A little bit to struggle maybe in terms of its comfort zone relative to what the other horses go. But I always hate when people put horses in there that we don't have, Terry, because when that race comes up, I know that one horse is going to scare the hell out of us, if not beat us, when the race comes to a close.
Yep.
Happens all the time. All right. So in race number 9, we have another one of these races where nobody's run before. This time, instead of going 2 furlongs, they're going to run 4.5. And man, they're going to get into that turn pretty quick. So I would suspect you want to have some speed. You probably want to be on the inside. They haven't run any races at this distance, so we don't know for sure. Just from experience, inside speed probably will have a little bit of an edge, Terry. Anyway, we don't have any statistics on who's going to be the fastest, so we do have a sense of what we like. So carry on.
I like Spiteful Miss as my first choice, the 2-horse, first-time starter, as they all are. She's got a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. Number 8, Mia Emil. Anyway.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, she's
me too. I'm going to go. I'm going to go
too.
Me Ammo. I'm going to guess that's what that is.
All right. Well, this dam has 8 winners from 10 starters, or her dam does, and she has a high percentage winning jockey who in the last 14 days have been in the money 8 out of 14 times, winning 4 of those. And then number 6 is my third choice. She has a bullet workout on April 22nd. One-Eyed Jackie is my long shot 4. She has a dam who's had 2 winners from 3 starters and a high percentage winning jockey and trainer. I have no more money left, so I have no bets in this race.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably a good one to stay away from. I'm going to go with the one horse here in my first pick. I do think that inside speed might help out. Trouble Dream. Trainer Brittany Russell wins. She's an up-and-coming trainer that you haven't heard of. Maybe if you haven't heard of yet, keep an eye out on her. She's starting to branch out a little bit from the Mid-Atlantic and with some good horses. This one looks like a good horse, too. That last workout at Delaware Park, fastest of 61. That's a pretty good workout. And I think Brittany's here to win this race. Also, number 2, Spiteful Miss. You have jockey Frankie Pennington teaming up with trainer John Service. When that combination hits the track, the horse wins at 41%. Don't like the works as much as I like the works on the one horse. But again, I think inside speed does all right in here. Crystal Knock-Ar Salis. I'm not sure. This one does have a bullet and go workout, and that was at Charlestown. Also has a pretty good workouts at Laurel Park as well. And again, first-time starters, one of the things you want to look for, according to Barry Meadows in his book, The Skeptical Handicapper, is that last workout prior to heading to the track was a bullet. When it is, those horses win more than 15% of the time. So quit that one in your arsenal for handicapping first-time starters. And then number 8, Me Too, Amo, I guess, as we came to. That one does have some decent workouts at Parx. I'm going to do a trifecta 1, 2, 6 over the 1, 2, over the 1, 2, 5, 6, and 8 in this first-time race, and who knows what's going to happen. All right, 9 down, 2 to go, Mr. Terry. In the 10th race, we do get horses with some experience. For the first time today, we're going to see them run a mile on the main track. A mile does tend to favor horses that do have a little bit of a early speed. In fact, you better be damn fast in this race, Terry, because 53% of the horses so far have gone wire to wire. The rail, Far Heart, does get a advantage. And then when you go from 2 and out, it does favor inside out. So the closer you are to the rail, at least so far, maybe the muddy conditions have changed that a little bit today, the better off you've been. 53%, Terry, have gone wire to wire. So like a pro, at 67% chance to go wire to wire, 67% chance to get the lead, 50% chance to go wire to wire. That means 30% chance the horse gets the lead and wins. So at odds of like 4 to 1 or higher, that horse might be one you have to put in your picks.
Could be. Well, the speed in here looks like it's the 5, 6, 7, the outside horses, especially the 5, like a pro. And then as far as the overlays go, the 1 has a pretty small overlay. It goes from almost 10 to 1, or a little over 10 to 1 to 12 to 1. And the 2 has a pretty nice overlay. It's supposed to be like, 4 to 5. It's listed at 4 to 1 on the morning line. As far as the Z zones, the 2 and the 4 have the best C zone numbers. So
So going back to race number 9, that Living Magic in here, Scary Creations points out the Living Magic, Justify Colt, $100,000 to breed him. Mud shouldn't hurt either. And in this race coming up, who you mentioned, the one horse there, they must have some slow horses at Delaware. Yeah, I think from what I've read, if I remember correctly, that key number in the 4 furlongs is 50 seconds, under 50 seconds. So you're right. There must be a bunch of slow ones there, but under 50, it works for me. And also, Brittany, she's winning wherever she's taking her horses. So whatever she's doing, those horses prepped and ready to go. In race number 10, Terry, you mentioned that. You also want to talk a little bit about what the race shape looks like in the second to last race of the day. And here you do see in race 10 that it's a pretty balanced race in here. The 5 horse might be one. I know it's got a good shot to get the lead. Also has the most late pace in there. This one could shock us a little bit in here, Terry. Not quite sure what's going on in here, but it does look like that 2 horse Nurturing is the one that might find its way to the front in this spot. Does also have a pretty strong late pace number, the 2 horse. And as we look at the late pace, early pace combination, Nurturing really 12 points over everybody else. Again, 10-point advantage. It's a must-have in your picks. Maybe not the winner, but one that you definitely want to see in your exactas and trifectas. Really good, strong chance to win. Terry, I think it's going to win. Who do you think is going to win?
I like the 4 Big Cheeks. She's won 2 races in a row and is going for a hat trick now and has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. Then number 6, Baby Gooden, is my second choice. She closed to win her second race in a row in her last race, receiving the highest last race speed rating. And I like the 2. Nutrient is my third pick. Drops in class today. Her best dirt speed is fastest among today's starters. And her early running style could really help her chances in here. Number 1, Far Heart is my long shot. She's another entry who has won 2 races in a row and is going for a hat trick. And the rail post is winning at a 20% clip. I have no money left, so no bet for me.
I always try to keep a little bit of money for the entire race. Eddie Olczyk says you have to have a bet every day just in case you're walking around lucky and didn't know it. And well, I kind of extended on that. You got to have a bet in every race just in case that's the one you're lucky at and you didn't think it. Nurturing for me is coming down in class, does have the potential, according to our more recent bias, to have a strong early pace advantage over the rest. Baby Gundin, winner of 2 straight, as you mentioned, Terry, much faster early fractions last out. Cutting back from 1 mile and 70 yards to 1 mile, I think is beneficial for the 6 as well. Big Cheeks, you got Ruben Silvera, Jamie Ness, combination you can never, ever overlook at Parx. Strongest C-zone score, and the only time that this horse ran at Parx, which is his last race, did win with ease, although the speed figures were a little bit light relative to the 2 and the 4. Far Heart, the one, won her last by 14 lengths. The one before that by 9 lengths. So clearly a horse that's in really strong form, but is stepping up the class ladder here and concerned perhaps that it might not get the most comfortable race. If it doesn't get the lead, could be a bit discouraged because it won both of those big trounces going wire to wire. I'm going to do a $1 double, the 2 over the 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 10 for me, because I do think the final race is one that is pretty wide open. Where can you watch it live? The only place you can really watch it live, as we mentioned before, Anthony, is on, you're going to have to open an account, something like betus.com. There's a couple ones, those foreign ones. There's a couple of bookies, I guess, again, punting books, if they might call it in England, that I think also allow you to do international. Open an account. Usually they have the races live there. You can watch the replays at Patha or at Parx.com. Come about 15, 20 minutes after the race. Otherwise, you're going to have to subscribe to that RTN. Race 10, you like the 2 to win with that strong C-zone. I agree with you, Christopher. And I think it's got a shot to get on that lead and stay there over everybody else. Final race of the day, Mr. Terry, at Muddy Monday. Hopefully you're feeling better. You're sounding better, Terry, than you did at the start. See what spending some time with good friends and talking about horse racing can do for you?
Yeah, and it actually makes me talk, kind of gets everything out of there. So
gets that blood flowing, baby. Well,
That's
6 furlongs claiming 5,000 non-winners of one in a year. So, well, not really a year, since November the 1st. The purse is 18 grand. So running for a little bit of moolah here. 6 furlongs, man, it doesn't matter where you are on the track, but tactical speed is the best way to get home. 36% when they're not running on mud, I guess. have won wire to wire. Post positions are mostly fair. 2 and 3 get a little bit of a discount, Terry. In the final race of the day, got a couple of scratches, but Positively Awesome isn't one of them. Should be your pace setter.
That's right. Shows the most speed. They maybe have a little trouble with our Good Time Charlie. And then there's a small overlay on that 3. And that's about the only overlay that I see there. And then as far as the C-zones, they all have real good C-zone numbers.
They do indeed. Everybody should run a race, minus maybe Dizzy Gillespie. Should be positioned where they feel comfortable and gain some confidence and perhaps have a shot to find their way to the winner's circle. In race number 11, you do see that most of the field wants to be middle and back. You see that here with 6 horses, either pressure closer types in the closers. 4 and a 10, those 2 are going to be out in front. If maybe it gets a little sunny out there and the track improves, those 2 should be your front runners. Positively Awesome, having the most early speed, 5-point advantage over everybody else, so should be able to clear from the outside. Late speed-wise, which has worked so far, if it does, Melina's Dream, 7-point edge over everybody else. If those guys decide to go run too fast early on, that one might be an upsetter in here. Our complete picture says Our Good Time Charlie, Dizzy Gillespie, Positively Awesome, King's House. That quartet has an advantage over the rest of the field, and maybe one of those 4 is your winner, Terry. I don't know what you think, but I think one of them will come from that group.
Yeah, I like the 3 Dizzy Gillespie. He finished second versus similar in his last race, and his best start speed's fastest among today's starters. Tactical Plan, the 2 horse, my second pick, drops in class today, and his best dirt speed is fastest among today's starters. And then number 10, Positively Awesome, that speed horse, drops in class today and has a high percentage winning jockey. And then I like the number 4, Our Good Time Charlie, which is my long shot. He showed some early speed in his first race back after a 9-month break, and he may improve in the second start since the layoff. He has the highest speed figure at today's distance. I have no money left, so there's no bet for me.
Christopher D'Souza on that 9 horse, that closer with that strong late pace advantage. It is an overlay too here. 20-1 morning line, 11-1 looks like fair odds. Has that strong C-zone score. It's going to be right where it wants to be on the track. It's going to do an exacta box, the 1 and the 9. And that should be a high paying one if it comes in, because you got 2 horses with long odds in there indeed. I'm going to go with the 10 horse here. It does look like the sun is out. I do see some shadows on the track at Parx now. So maybe by this race, the track will get upgraded from muddy to good. Maybe go back to a little bit of a speed bias. Positively Awesome should be your pace setter. Has a strong C-zone score. I think it's got a shot to go wire to wire here. Dizzy Gillespie, the 3 horse, did run the top last race speed figure. Better 2 and 4 furlong pace numbers and catching a little bit of a weight break as well. Our Good Time Charlie. Yeah, Terry, I had a hard time moving this one up any closer to the lead because last time out was the favorite. First race off the bench and just didn't show anything. So we'll see if maybe it can bounce back here today. And finally, number 2, Tactical Plan. More consistent, than the rest of the horses in this field, is dropping in class with a strong C-zone score. And if it can return to any of its prior 9-race form, has a real good shot to be competitive here. 3, 4, 10 with the 3-10 with the 1, 2, 3, 4, and 10 for me as my last race trifecta. Our full picks for the day, what races 1 through 11 and races 1 and 2 are in the books, Terry. But here you see our full races for the day for Terry and I. Again, if you haven't done so, please kindly hit the like button. Follow us, subscribe, all that kind of good stuff here on YouTube. Give us a thumbs up on Facebook and YouTube if you have not done already. Tell your friends about us. Also today, if you're going to make some plays later on today, I think it is opening day at Mountaineer. I think yesterday was opening day at Mountaineer Park. Today is day 2 at Mountaineer Park, and it is our free track at Guaranteed Tip Sheet. There is a link in the description down below. The racing will start with a best bet, number 3, Shish Kebab at 6-7 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you get your picks there. Again, use the link down there below. And make sure you subscribe to our wagering guide deal for the Triple Crown races and the Breeders' Cup later on in the year. Finally, tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern, our good friend Sean and Julie, I think, are going to be together tonight with a guest. Jacqueline Davis. I don't think we've had her on before. Maybe we have. I don't recall. I know we had her sister on, and we've had Trevor McCarthy on. So that shows at 8 p.m. If you have any questions for Jacqueline, make sure you tune in. She'll be more than happy to answer them as long as they're appropriate, right? Always want to be appropriate in our conversation. That'll be 8 p.m. Eastern. Bookmark us, Sean and Julie on Horse Center. And then today, baseball, of course. If you love baseball, and I know the Venezuelans love their baseball, our good friend Picks with the Professor uses his statistics professorness to make his picks, looking for statistical edges. There is a link for that in the description below, as well as winning touches. You want to get some great horse racing memorabilia. All right, Terry, let's talk about race number 3. You can see that it is in the background. The sun is coming out, so I wouldn't be at all surprised. The track has already been upgraded to good. So maybe we'll see some speed horses finally do some work here, right?
Maybe. You never know.
All right, let's look at race 3. Let's pull up our information for race 3, see how this race plays out. According to our pace, it looks like the 3, the 4, and the 5 should get out to the front and really make work of it. The 1 horse in here, Terry's top pick, Tempted to Touch, is your favorite right now at 9-5. The 4 horses next up in line at 5-2. The 2 and the 3 at 3-1. The 5 and the 6, both of which are over 10-1. So let's see. That 5 horse boy, he ain't having it, and it's really upsetting the 2 horse too. And I think we might get some scratches in here if they don't get these horses straightened out, because those 2 are really pissed off. Yeah, the 2 horses still acting up. I don't know that they're going to, and the jockey's off. So let's see if they can get him settled before the gates open, because he's all wound up, that 2 horse. And let's see. Now the 6 horse is rearing, and I don't think he flipped yet, but it's close. They're, man.
Boy, they're all messing up. The 5.
Yeah, I think.
The 2.
I don't know. I think the jockey might have got headbutted by the 6 horse. I don't know what happened with that one there. I think they're going to pull all these horses out, is what I think. They're having some real problems with these guys in here. Yep. There's going to be some scratches.
Look at that 6.
Yeah, he flipped out, right?
Yeah, he fell down.
Did he?
Went down on his butt.
Is he still down?
I don't see that now because they took it off of my TV just now.
Yeah, no, I think he headbutted the jockey too.
Could be.
Jockey on the 6 was holding on for dear life. Tough job being a jockey. There's no question about that. Absolutely. I think he got headbutted. It looked like to me, and maybe was a little bit woozy. I hope the 6 horse is fine, and I certainly hope that the jockey in that spot on the 6 horse for race number 3. I don't know why my computer's not populating in here, Terry, but let's see. Race number 3, the jockey on 6 horse was Adam Bowman, who's been on the show too, a friend of the show. So Adam, we certainly hope that you are okay, because when you have that 1,500-pound animal whacking you in the face with some energy, it can't feel good.
No.
All right. So I think it's going to be a bit before they run race number 3, Terry. At least that's the way it looks to me.
Yep.
Tomorrow, you and I will be back, same time, maybe a little bit earlier if I can be a little bit quicker to get prepared. We'll do Parx once again. Charles and I will be back on Wednesday and Thursday. Thursday night, make sure you subscribe. We're going to do probably 8 p.m. Eastern, a Kentucky Derby, Kentucky Oaks double preview. So yeah, Charlie's Chubb, the 6 horse, is out of that race, Terry. Not surprising at all. Yeah, I don't know if I see the horse moving around in the back, so I don't know what happened to the horse itself. But hopefully it's okay. You see him moving around?
Yeah, it's still giving them trouble just trying to get it off the track.
He's got a little bit of energy, that guy.
Yeah, really does. Yeah, he says.
Right. So I'm glad that the jockey's fine. Certainly hope Adam's fine.
Yeah, so do I.
It does look like they're going to race in a couple seconds, so we'll cover that race in there, Terry, for sure. So again, tune in on Friday. I'm not sure if Tom and I are going to do a forum Friday or not with the Kentucky Oaks. We'll see. Of course, Saturday is the Kentucky Derby. Again, over at Guaranteed Tip Sheet, where there's a link down in the description below, we'll have the most extensive preparation that you're going to find anywhere. It doesn't mean it'll be perfect, but I assure you that you will be prepared. And you can get, like I said, a good deal on our wagering guides right now for the Triple Crown, the Derby, the Preakness, the Belmont Stakes, and the Breeders' Cup half off.
Well, I've used them for years, and they've been really, really good for me. So I suggest you go to it and get them. So
I agree with you, Scary Creations. We did series on our YouTube channel with the gate crew down at Tampa Bay Downs. If you haven't seen that, you can find them on our YouTube channel, Horse Racing Radar TV, and listen to what they have to say. I mean, these are really the unsung heroes of horse racing. The jockeys and the trainers, and the announcers and the people who do the analysis, the good-looking people, so to speak, they all get the credit. But I can tell you, being on the backside at a couple of tracks, you get there early in the morning, Palm Meadows down at Tampa Bay Downs. You saw it here at Hawthorne. And those people are up bright and early, man. You're out there on the track. The sun's not even up yet, and people have been working for a couple of hours. Rain, sleet, snow, beautiful, whatever. Those people really bust the ass and work their money. They earn their money. So support them, if you can, by A, following them on their social sites, B, contribute to some of those funds that help the backside workers, help jockeys who, get injured because they're 1099 employees. They don't get a salary. If they're not riding, they ain't getting paid. And when they get injured, unless you're one of those top-notch jockeys that has a disability program, kind of difficult in there, right?
Yeah. Also, I want to say thank you to Christopher for wishing me good luck.
Good. We appreciate that too. I backed for Tempest Rising in this third race here. All right. Good with that. Good luck with that with Trading View. What do you trade? Trading? Let us know what you trade. I do a lot of stock market stuff too. That's where I come from, the stock market world. I think 1991 passed the Series 7. Barely, but I passed it. I think I scored a 76. Only took it once and studied for it for about 6 weeks on my own. It was definitely one of the more difficult tests that one can take. Time consuming for sure. Was in that business for a long time. So I try to use a lot of the same kind of mentality, looking for alpha, that sort of stuff, looking for data trends that can help me identify horses that might be in a situation to do well. And in some respects, the C-Zone, what we do here at Trading View, I would think would be pretty similar to maybe technical analysis in that you're looking at it's essentially reviewing a chart and seeing which way. I actually have some technical analysis stuff that we do with the God, I can't remember the name of the charts. So with the high-low close tick charts, I forget the name of them, but we actually do that with speed figures on some stuff too, and just so many different things, and only a limited amount of time we can bring them all up. Still waiting on race number 3, Terry. I don't know what the hell's going on. Maybe they're gonna scratch another one in here. Maybe. They haven't even closed the gates, only for the one horse.
Wow.
And they're all just kind of circling in the back, and the 2 horses out of its mind behind there too. I don't know if they're going to get that one in there. He's running around like he's running the race already. And now the 1 horse is jumping up and down. They're all wound up with each other. And this is not even the race with the 2-year-olds going 2 furlongs.
I know.
I can't wait to see how crazy they act in the next race. Again, if you haven't done so while we pass time, please thumbs up on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. Tell your friends about us, and what the heck. Why we have a minute here, Terry, let me bring something else up. You can help support the show by going to horseracingtoday.net. We will, once they run this next race, we will post our picks along with our commentary here at horseracingtoday.net. And if you see over here where it says HRT Gear, go ahead and click on that. You'll get an advertisement. But after that, you can support the show by picking up some Horse Racing Today gear. Every time I've worn the shirt with this on here, Terry, I've got nothing but compliments. Yeah. So if you want to look good at the track, you want to support the show, please head on over there and pick up some merchandise. Again, horseracingtoday.net HRT gear, which Terry's got on and I got on today. And I also have on from our trip to Hawthorne. I want to thank them. A little bit of harness racing today. Maybe that's why I'm not doing so well. I have the harness vibe on. It could be thoroughbreds today. All right. So race number 3. Are we ever going to run this race, Terry? What do you think?
Yeah.
And we actually are running the race. All right. Yeah, there they go.
There they go.
In race number 3, right now, the 3 horse is the one that indeed has gotten to the lead. And that was amongst those that we thought had a good shot to get the lead. The 3, that would be 11 months later, on the front right now. You do have the 2 horse, it looks like. No, the 5 horse. I don't know what the hell horse that is right there. It looks like the 2 horse. Yes, the 2 horse. Jump a Fox is on the inside, but in all of its jumping aroundness, Terry got its silks a little bit dirty. The 3 horse through the opening quarter in 24-2. Now the 4 horse is in second place. That is your favorite right now. No, actually it's 2-1. The 3 horse is the 7-5 favorite. The 2-horse remains in third. 5-horse on the outside. Jockey standing pretty tall on that 5-horse. I think he's going to have a little bit of something for the rest. The 2-horse with all of his pre-race energy, that horse is done, folks. I think he's going to spend. He's actually pulling him up now. So it's a 4-horse race with the 3 up on the lead. The 5-horse trying to make a move. The 4-horse is struggling to get up. The 1-horse on the rail. It is making the move up into third place. The 1 and the. So it looks to me, just looking at it, that this race is going to go in some order of 3, 4, and 1. The 1-horse, I think, right now is actually moving the best. The 4 is going wide. I'm going to try to make its move on the outside. The 3-horse is lugging, did open up the rail for the 1-horse to work its way through. As they come down the stretch, it is a 3-horse race. The 4-horse is trying to find some late momentum. The 3 is drifting up the track. It looks like the 3-horse is going to be your winner in your first wire-to-wire race of the day. It's a strong battle for second. The 4, hanging in tough there, Terry. It's going to go 3, 4, 1, and then way back to the 5. So 3, 4, 1, way back to the 5. And that 2-horse, folks, that didn't want to race in the first place says, screw all of you. I'm walking to the finish line.
Yep.
3, 1, 4, 2 trifecta, Neil. So I went
you
3, 4, 1. Yes, you got that. There you go. That is the way they went in race number 2. 3, 4, 1 after a whole lot of pre-race drama. All right, Terry, after an hour and 15 minutes, starting about 10 minutes late, that wraps it up. I hope you feel better, but any kind and good words for everybody else before we get up and get out of here.
Well, I hope everybody has a good week and that you let your loved ones know how you feel, because you never know what's going to happen. Just hope the weather cooperates and quits giving us problems everywhere. And just have a great week.
Indeed. A little later on YouTube, they will have the Kentucky Derby draw as well as the Oaks draw. I think all of those stakes races are going to be drawn today. Should be a good thing. We're absolutely going to have that covered from start to finish for the rest of the week. You're going to want to tune in for that. Again, Terry and I will be back for Parx tomorrow. We look forward to that. Until we get together again, we certainly hope that you have God's blessings and that all of your picks, Terry, and your health, my man, they end up in
the winner's circle.
Indeed. Fantastic muddy mud day for everybody. We'll see you soon.